what he made some major improvements size-wise, especially when he's the front relaxed, looked like picture perfect.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with this physique update, as well as the announcement from Sergio Oliva Jr. So that caption under his latest post, that is pretty much indicating that Sergio is gonna be doing that Pro Muscle Italy show, which is happening in September. So that show is scheduled roughly a month before this year's Mr. Olympia. So of course this is gonna be a strategic entry by Sergio Oliva Jr., which is a great move and the right move, as most of these guys, they will be done by that time with their Olympia qualifications, especially the top Olympia guys. And 4.5 weeks before the Olympia, no big name, they're gonna try to do any show at that point. Now what Samson did last year, that was France Pro, and that was 2 weeks before the Olympia. Now that makes some kind of sense, that you are already in a contest ready shape at that point. But a month or maybe more than a month out, it is a pretty safe bet that no big name are gonna be doing those shows. So Sergio Oliva Jr. made his comeback this year with his new coach Stefan, and that was at FIBO Germany this year. And that was a pretty good comeback, especially if we ignore his back for a moment. He was improved in every single aspect apart from his back. His overall physique, that was looking a lot better. Now I know that chest was looking a bit on the flat side, especially at the prejudging, but he came back a lot stronger at the finals in that area. And the reason his back looking behind in comparison to his front, or in comparison to his past physiques, was due to him getting that shoulder injury. And that is why we were calling this a comeback, because he was coming back to the stage after a couple of injuries. And he even mentioned in one of the episodes of the Menace podcast that he was unable to do chest properly while prepping for FIBO Germany. And considering all those factors, he looked pretty impressive. So the likes of Andrew Jack, who is a genetic freak, and Sazan Hirati, who has turned out to be a very polished and one of the most consistent guys in terms of nailing his peak show after show, coming in absolutely ripped. So these guys were simply too superior for someone like Sergio Oliva Jr. at that show. But if he can get some of that back density back, and if he can bring up his chest, he is for surely gonna be in that title fight for this upcoming show in Italy. And there is a good chance that he might get his Olympia qualification. Talk about transforming the biggest weakness into a strength. Samson Dauda's back transformation, that tells us that exact same story. He was told that he would never win the Olympia title, because if we look back at the bodybuilding history, majority of those Olympia champions, especially for the men's open, they all had phenomenal backs, and hence the phrase, the shows are won from the back. And the back on Samson Dauda, especially up until 2021, that was like his biggest weakness. But looking at that right now, that back is no more a weakness for him. Now we can all agree that there are better back double biceps in that men's open Olympia lineup at the highest level, like we have Derek, the Mutant, but the back lat spread on Samson Dauda, that is pretty damn impressive now. Definitely among one of the best out there. I mean, he won that pose last year at the Olympia, and based on this update that Samson Dauda posted, the back looks wider and denser than ever before. And we mentioned this over and over again, that he's a very unique bodybuilder in a sense, that in the last 2 decades in open bodybuilding, nobody has looked this lean at 330 pounds. I mean, we hardly saw any bodybuilders go up to that kind of body weight. I think there is only one or maybe two, and that's Big Ramy and Ronnie Coleman. So is this Mr. Olympia the most open Olympia in the recent past? Well, in my opinion, only if Samson Dauda misses his mark and he shows up off. Now, on the flip side, if he brings the best condition of his career, if he's hard and dry with better skin texture than what we have seen from him in the past, there is simply no reason to think that Samson Dauda won't be able to defend his Olympia title. It's gonna be his show to lose. So the mutant Nick Fokker doing those cable curls in a tank top while being in such an awesome shape, roughly 7 weeks post-show. That is a sight to behold because of his super bombs and one of the best biceps out there. So 6 to 7 weeks post-show and still managing to stay this lean while going up in weight. This just goes to show us that what him and his coach are planning this time is to grow into the show for this upcoming Mr. Olympia. So right now they're at a point that at 16 weeks out of the biggest bodybuilding show of the year, the food is going up. And for Nick, it is all about getting the maximum out of this rebound phase, as he did mention that he's gonna be aiming to put on maybe 4 to 5 pounds of more muscle before the Olympia this year. So Nick's training philosophy, that is total opposite to some of these other top pros. I mean, can you imagine him having a full upper body day in a single session every week and making the maximum out of it? Now some people out there, they find his training style a bit boring, as he trains very slow with that textbook form. But the thing is, he takes a lot of pride in that, and that has helped him grow tremendously over the past few years. Now I don't think there is any other pro who executes their lift to such perfection as the mutant does. Now Nick Walker kind of shocked the entire bodybuilding world at this year's Pittsburgh Pro by being the people's champion against a former Miss Olympia and the reigning Arnold champion, Derek Lunsford, who just beat Samson at the Arnold. So the question right now is that, can he do the same at this year's Miss Olympia? So can you guys imagine the hype if Big Ramy announces that he's making his comeback to this year's Olympia stage and this is gonna be his final show of his competitive bodybuilding career? So that news is gonna spread like wildfire all across the bodybuilding world, and rightfully so. It's actually wishful thinking from the fans at this point, as every time we see Big Ramy throwing around some seriously heavy weights in the gym, as you can see him doing right now, going through a leg workout session today, still pushing very impressive kind of weights. So just like Big Ramy has been teasing the fans with reposting all these stories in regards to his comeback, the official Mr. Olympia LLC, they also posted this picture on their official IG page, and that is from today. Now before Rubiel Mosquera, it was Big Ramy who had the biggest quads in the entire bodybuilding world. He was the biggest guy, period. He still might be if he comes back. And he was among the only few guys who was asked not to grow his legs anymore, because that just wasn't looking proportional at that point. And that is why to me some of the best looks from Big Ramy, they were seen when he was young, when he first came onto the scene. So if Big Ramy actually decides to make this comeback one final time this year at the Olympia, this will be more about his farewell, because the top judges, especially Steve Weinberger, they were very vocal about Big Ramy's physique in his last show, which was the Arnold back in 2023, that his legs were too big for his upper body. So what did you guys think? Is Big Ramy comeback happening? And is it gonna be worth it? Especially for Big Ramy himself. So Tonio Burton is that one guy who got the highest praise after competing at this year's Dubai Pro Show, while 99% of the people, they had Behrouz Tabani winning that show. William Bonac and Tonio Burton on the other hand, that was a different story, and majority of the people out there, they thought they could have flip-flopped. But that being said, the message was sent very loud and very clear by Tonio Burton that he isn't being delusional when he claims that he's gonna be top 6 at this year's Mr. Olympia. He got more praise from the guys in the recent episode of the Menace podcast, and he fully deserves that.
And when you see it, it's just so outstanding that it kind of negates all those strengths that Tonio had. You know, it might not be as mature the muscle as Williams is,
and that's
but as far as shape and size, I mean, he looks like Dexter Jackson to me.
Yeah, and I say Tonio Burton is the first call-out guy too at the Olympia. I wouldn't be surprised.
Now Tonio has some of the most bubbly-looking quads in the entire men's open at the moment, and at the same time, he has the deepest separation and very feathered quads, something that we rarely see in this day and age. And he comes in very dry and very ripped every single time. And unlike last year, when Tonio was looking a bit outmuscled by multiple guys at the New York Pro, at Cali Pro, the show that he won. But this year, even standing next to someone like Rubiel, who is so much bigger than him, the man did pretty damn well. So the man still weighs somewhere in the 220s. And it's hard to believe that he competes against guys who weigh in the high 250s or even higher than that. And he looks so phenomenal and so comparable. So a bit more chest, and Tonio is gonna be a very big threat to those top 6 to top 7 spots at this year's Mr. Olympia. So all that posing that Tonio did before the show, that really paid off big time, as he was able to hold his composure very well on the stage. So let me know what you guys think. Can Tonio Burton be in that top 6? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.